This conference will now be recorded.
Well, welcome everybody to the Flowerful Living Wellness Hour. And it's so funny. We right before we got started, Gina was like, "We need to be serious." I'm like,
What? Don't do that. That's not good.
"No, no, no, lighthearted and light-minded. It's all good." So, welcome everybody. We last week we had the Lionsgate, we had the solar eclipse, we had all this really energy just coming on the planet, and a lot of people were just going. It was like feeling like so much energy that yesterday we went ahead and talked. We can get everybody go ahead and mute their cameras or wherever they're at, so we can have it a little quieter. There we
We're
go.
good. We're good.
We had a
Okay.
lot of feedback going on. Thank you. But with just like last week, we had a lot of static going on. a lot of things on the waves there as you speak. So we really talked about yesterday. Because like I said, every Tuesday we talk about what we're going to talk about on Wednesday because we just want these things to be very timely and get them out quickly. So hopefully they're going to help everybody to be in real time, real tools, helping people to do what they need to do. And if you're watching this afterwards, and I'm sure there's going to be, I always think if I watch something and I have at least one or two takeaways, it was worth my time. So when it comes to stuff like that. So we were tuning in yesterday, and I got very strongly that we're going to talk today about calm, clear, and confident. Because as we come into that kind of a trinity, Spirit wanted to tell me that it was a trinity of wellness and equilibrium. Because it really comes from that place of really centering ourselves, grounding ourselves, coming from that place of calm, and then being able to bring that into our natural rhythms and our radiance. And I love that.
Oh,
I was like, oh my gosh, here we go. Go ahead, Aim.
I just want to honor with Lionsgate in the last few weeks, a lot of people have chosen to leave, whether we think that or not. And so I just want to honor those who have chosen to pass and honor those who are missing them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I think all of us know that there's just this sense of loss that's been going on. I know personally I've had 4 people just pass away that are kind of distant to my soul family. So, we definitely have those things where I think that's another reason to come from that level of, calm, clear, and confident about where I am and how I want to be moving forward from just really coming from a place from my heart and really moving from that spiritual energy of, what would my source really want me to be doing as I move forward. So I'm going to go ahead and take calm with everybody, and really it is about coming from that inner stillness, that inner place of like being able to have that kind of place where I have a practice that I do on a regular basis. It really helps me to have that tool that I can go to consistently. That really helps me to bring that in because once you start coming from the place of calm, there is a sense of everything gets cleared and you do have a sense of confidence. And I'm excited for Amy's part of this because she's really going to kind of show us about that sense of confidence and what that does. And that's really our dynamic, light energy and being in a place of just having our empowerment of who we are and being able to stand in our sovereignty. And I think that's just something that's so important to be able to be working with that. So in looking at calmness, right off the bat, I always think of our breath really coming from that place. It's right here welcoming us and coming from that level of gratitude every time I am able to take a breath in and out. And it's that practice of coming in and breathing in but exhaling a little bit longer. We always talk about that, but it's always really important to just kind of slow yourself down and have that place where the slowness really helps us to be in a coming from a place of being able to be in that stillness. And last episode I really loved it because Maria really invited us for 5 minutes to be in stillness, to being quiet. And I think that's something that can be something that's really just a great tool for people. And I mean, if 5 minutes, we did it for 5 minutes, and depending on where you were at, if you were able to watch that episode, or if you think like 5 minutes, oh, I can't even do 5 minutes. That sounds like too much for me. Try a minute. Just try 1 minute and see how you do with that. I mean, it's like sometimes it's like just like meditation. It's building that muscle of practicing and being able to just commit to yourself because how much more important can it be to committing, to be commitment to ourselves for our wellness and being able to have that place where I can just stop and pause and being in a place of stillness. And I think a part of that too is really important because when there's all kinds of practices that can really help us with that stillness and calm. I think one thing that's really great is just doing one task at a time. If because we've been so trained and so, the society is like, I could do 16 things at the same time. Woo, look at me. But if it's studies have shown that if you slow yourself down to basically saying, just like I'm in the present moment and this is what I'm doing. I think that's why hobbies and all that can really be good. One of our members, Victoria, is just a beautiful painter and just reminds me about being able to be and just, I'm taking a vision of what I have in my mind and being able to create that with my hands and have it out in the world that I can share it and gift it to people. I think that's such a wonderful thing, and being able to have that as that sense of calm, because it's a matter of I can creatively express myself and being able to move in that and have it where I'm being in that. So with that, with that breath, isn't like, coming from that place of breathing in, their studies have shown too that the minimum you really want to do is at least 3 deep breaths and being able to do that. But if you can go up to say 20, and people go, wow, just like, can I do a minute of silence? 20 breaths actually change your physiology. 3 does, but 20 is just so much more in just this different place. So I really invite you to play with that and to say, I'm just, going to take, I'm going to breathe in and out and just allow myself to do that for maybe 20 breaths and see how I feel with that. And on other episodes, we talked about being able to come from finding music that can be really something that can calm you as well. And coming from being able to find something that basically has the 60 beats per minute is just like our heartbeat. And it really moves us into just a different rhythm and a slower pace. And that can be something that can also be something that really can help it to nurture us and being able to do that. And along with that, Tuesday, we want to talk about nature. Boy, if something else, you want to get calm really cool, calm very quick, go to a park, find some place with flowers, have some place where you can be interacting with nature. And you're going to entrain with that very quickly, because that's just our natural way. It's our organic self, our nature self, that really can bring that into this new level. And really in asking nature to help you to come from a place of calm. We've talked before about, connecting to the trees and mother trees and things like that. And really, thinking, can I talk to a tree? The trees would love you to have a conversation with them. They really would. Flowers, any of that, things would be able to do that. And don't be surprised if they kind of lean in and want to be connected to you at the same time, because it's that matter of like, I see you and I honor you as a living being. We're all the oneness that we have on the planet, and I'm honoring the oneness that is between us. And I ask you to help me to share with that a little bit deeper and a little bit wider than I've known. And I think that can be really profound with that. But so really quick, I wanted to get into some foods that really can help us, because I was sharing with Victoria before we got on that the other day with all the stress and all the stuff that was happening, I decided to have I didn't even decide, it just kind of happened. I just had this junk day. I was eating potato chips and all kinds of stuff. I was just having a party with, and having a birthday party or something like that. But what was interesting though is the day I woke up the next day, or even like later that day, and I felt like I had a hangover, just like if you'd been drinking too much, the too much junk food, and what that can really do on the chemical actions of what we have going on within our bodies. So, and it's all the other preservatives and all the other stuff that basically my body was like, oh my God, what are we doing? So there's lots of foods that can really help us to calm and be in this just place that really balances us. And really, I think, just for fun, go to the grocery store and go into the produce section and just say, who wants me to take you home and have a food party, but have it be a healthy food party, and being able to do that. So spinach is very good because of the iron and all the different components that it really has for you. Anything with dark leafy greens, just like being in a forest, all the deep greens and things like that, when we can bring them in internally, can really, really help us, And, people just think about foods, food wants to have an experience with us just like we want to have an experience with them. It wants to have that internal experience of what is it like to be in a human body. So I think that's kind of a fun way of being able to look at it, just like, who wants to come and have an experience with me. So it's kind of a different way of thinking about it, but it's really can very, very almost make it a sacred thing with you're basically having a relationship with your food in just a different way. Just like we have talked about before too with prayer, making sure that I'm just slowing down, coming from a calm place, and being able to have gratitude with what I'm about to, put it into my body, with asking it to basically give me exactly what I need as I give gratitude for the fact of what it's here for me. And, plants just want to be here for us to just have this just really deep spiritual experience, and having it be something that breaking the bread, breaking a salad, that's a good thing to do too. So, and then melons are great. Watermelon right now is a really good time to be hydrating the body. And there's all kinds of different ways that we can do that. You could have a day where you just ate watermelon all day. I mean, you know your limits and what you need to do, but having that kind of thing where you can go into a mono diet for a day and really just being present with food can be something can be very profound, because you're really watching your body in a different way instead of just having where, I'm just eating really quick because I got to move on and do something else. It's like having that relationship with it, and I think it can be really, really wonderful. It's about allowing the waters of life to allow them to flow within you with all the chemical reactions and stuff it can do. And then one of the other ones I wanted to talk about was dates. Dates are very good, being able to give us just really good balance. They give so many good elements to us, and along with that too, and they really feed our brains. So it's something that's really good to be able to have that, where it can help to balance our sugars in our body in a natural way. And then it feels so, it feels like having a treat. I just love dates too. So along with that too, it just makes it really good for being from a place of calm. So we have all kinds of teas and things like that you can do: chamomile, mint, linden. I love linden, and I'm such a proponent for linden. Linden actually calms your body from the inside out, and it's very, very good for your heart. So it really works with the heart chakra, and it works to actually help us to just any kind of anxiousness and things that could be in the body on a physical level. It can help to really calm the body down very quickly. And then we got nettle and cardamom, lemon peel, and rose, of course. You can have rose teas and things like that. We can do one thing, and then with those is really great to be able to do sun teas and moon teas. So depending on what we're having going on, we got these solar eclipse and lunar eclipses and all this other kinds of stuff. Put a carafe out with some of these teas and allow it to be brewed with either the sun or the moon, and it can be very profound energetically, and how it can be with your body, and put your hands on it and give it some light, and just ask it to go ahead and make it perfect for whatever you need for keeping yourself, in a place of equilibrium and being balanced in your wellness. And then one of the other things I wanted to talk about, Spirit wanted me to talk about, was Tulsi. If you're not familiar with Tulsi, which is also holy basil, it's a very good balancer for the body. And Tulsi is really great because it's an adaptogen. It really comes in and basically helps you to kind of it recalibrates you very quickly on whatever you have going on with information. And with all the codes that we have coming in between the moon and the sun, and just energetically what's happening with all this energy coming on, it can really help you to recalibrate very, very quickly, and coming from that place of calm. So yes, it's our breath, and yes, it's coming from levels of food and what nature has here to offer us. But I also wanted to invite Spirit. And with Spirit, I wanted to go ahead and introduce Polianahu. I'm probably not saying that right with the Hawaiian words. She is the ice goddess. And you're like, wow, Robin, why would we talk about the ice goddess? So we're talking about calm. Well, if we look at the waters and water consciousness of water, she is wonderful because what she represents is the caress, being coming from a place of softness. So really invite everybody, just, maybe rub your legs or maybe rub your arms, and doing that self-soothing that you can do for yourself. And really helps to soothe the body and really calm the body down, and really holding us in a place of just grace. And I think it's interesting for me is it also wanted to talk about how, Eskimos, when it comes to snow, they have over 50 words for snow. So when it looks at that sense of like, what do I know, and having that be something where I can be open to a new way of having to look at something, and yet have it in an expression that maybe I've not recognized before, I think that's something that we can really embrace with the waters and what it really wants to be doing for us. So, one of the messages for her is that, calming the chaos of the fires and strengthens our immovable stillness. I love that, immovable stillness. So coming from that place of calm, I can practice, though, even there's fires on an external level with all the, things that are happening on the world. There can be internal ways that I can be in a place of stillness and immovable stillness. I think that can be very, very powerful. So, a caress is the stillness that cannot be resisted because it resists nothing. So if I'm not resisting and I'm coming from this place of flow, I can be in this place of really being able to embrace the calmness within myself. So let's go ahead and put our hands on our heart and on our stomach, our belly. Just take a couple deep breaths. And really invite stillness to be there. Really invite calm of my body to just come forward, because our body knows how to be calm. And we may be doing it while we're sleeping, or maybe even just in a place where we're not really being very present with ourselves, but our body knows how to be calm. So breathing in again and out. And again, breathing in and out. So through nature, through our own inner wisdom and anything that we have coming through us, exact as spirit and just, the larger world, just show us ways that we can be still and be grateful for those ways that we're getting messages. So that can be just a place of being able to be calm. And Amy's going to go ahead and talk about being able to be confident.
Starfish. Anybody
There we
do
go.
starfish? Yeah, it's like, before, if you're not feeling calm, legs out, arms up. Amy Cuddy talks about that in the book Presence, before an interview, before an important meeting. Starfish it. So that's a simple, easy thing. We're all about real tools, real time. And so one of the things I want to support you in as we're going through this is, what are some ways that I can be calm and confident and have clarity, which Maria is going to move us into. And for me, I think a large part of what confidence is taking action on what you know to do when you're not confident. Right? And it doesn't mean you have to be 100% confident, maybe 51%, to take that next action. Like Robin talked about, a tree. So I have wood oil here. So, when I don't have time to go out and get a tree, hug, I can bring it in through my senses. Robin talked about having various, foods that are calling to you. So what I'm going to do tonight is do a stir fry, and I have a bunch of different vegetables. That's the thing that's so great about stir fry. It's like whatever you got, right? You can throw that in. So that's a good way to do that. And then one of my favorite tools I've learned from Robin is she talks about all these great teas, and that's all wonderful, and doing the ritual. One thing that she does is she takes tea bags and put them in her water bottle. Make it simple, make it easy. I always have tea bags in my purse, in my backpack. Then I don't have to be thinking about, right, how am I going to go get them? I already have them. So make it simple, make it easy, or you ain't going to do it. I'm just telling you, or most people won't. So with confidence, so Robin talked a little bit about chaos, and I worked for the federal government for 20 years. So I acronym everything. That's what I do. That's how I remember. It's how it makes sense to me. So years ago, I had written an article about chaos, and what came to me was chaos is an acronym: clarity, holding an open space. And so and then Maria's going to move us into clarity a little bit more, but it's like, do I have the confidence? Do I have the courage to be in a space of not knowing? And then, I will remain still until you show me what to do, basically, right? That takes a lot of courage. That takes a lot of confidence, because it's easy to act, there's one thing about acting, but are you taking the time to be calm, to know what you're really to do, and then to act? So I had done, I do a Woman's Fun Day every month at the vet center, and doing it again today, but a couple months ago, I did critical thinking and critical feeling and making life's choices. And what came to me was, if it's not a heck no or a holy yes, you're not ready to decide. So it's really, am I really listening? Am I paying attention? Am I doing the things that I need to do? So out of that, I want to share with you, and I can, do it, another way at another time. As Robin had the 3C cubed, what came to me was AI cubed, and I can share that when this gets posted. But what came to me in using critical thinking and critical feeling, emotion, and your body to make decisions. If you're not doing that, I really want to encourage you to, what the heck does that mean? Start playing with that. And we can certainly do a Flowerful Living, workshop, certainly on that, on real strong details. But what came to me is, what I want you to focus on is authentic intelligence. What is that for me? What is it that I'm here to bring onto the planet? What is it that my calling is? My authentic intelligence. And the second I is ancestral intelligence. And so I saw authentic intelligence, again, as this big circle, right? And then the ancestral intelligence coming into us. And that's one of the reasons we're doing the healing. And I think we talked about it last week, that not all ancestral stuff needs healed. There's lots of valuable gold there too. And remembering that, honoring that, I'm going to be going on a cruise and I'll be stopping at Denmark. That's Robin and my family heritage. So that'll be fun to see what happens, what I pick up from there. And then last but not least, maybe least for me, the artificial intelligence, and that goes in and out by our choice. Well, I know artificial intelligence is part of our lives. Most of the time, we don't even know it is. But I want you to slow down the roll and really focus on staying in authentic intelligence. And what is that for you? So part of confidence, I believe, really is acting. I think part of confidence is being willing to be an optimistic person. I like to tell people I'm an optimistic critical thinker. I'm going to lean towards that direction and I'm going to check. So I found a quote that I wanted to share with you. Being an optimist doesn't mean denying reality or seeing sunshine when it's raining. It's hopefulness and confidence about the future or the success of something. Optimism is searching for the yes in everything, in every situation, and finding it. Optimists act. That's Julian Camp. If you're not acting, it may not be time, or maybe you need to work on your confidence muscle. Maybe you need to do a starfish and ask for a little bit of information. All right, Maria, can you give us some clarity?
Wow. Clarity has come up to me so much these past month and a half. There are being movements in our Mother Earth, lots of movement. And not to make you scared, but expect some more. But that's what Mother Earth does. We forget she's alive, right? And it's so funny because right now, with all of these movements, if you watch social media, wow, there are opinions galore, right? This happened because of this. It's human created, it's consciousness created. God is mad. Mother Earth is mad. And we forget the simple things. Mother Earth, it's a being like us who's alive, who is going through movements. If you itch, what do? You just go and calm the itch, right? Well, have you ever thought Mother Earth isn't it doing the same thing? Right? So I wanted to somehow give you clarity in the information you receive or the information that you look at here, inhale, or put through your mouth, right? I was one of the top geneticists in this world, in this medical field, especially in dermatopathologies. And I discovered collagen 17 with my group, right? It's not a one thing person thing. And when we discovered it, we thought, yay, I made it, Nobel Prize from here. It's not that simple. But after accepting and having clarity that I am a channel of information, and I finally came out of the closet saying, I am a medical intuitive, right? I cannot do this anymore. I realized having a conversation with Dr. Ockman that how significant my work was, even though no one really saw it then. Collagen 17, it's like the sticky socket for the electricity in the body, cell to cell, right? And then came the discoveries of, hello, the meridians are in the extracellular matrix, and that it's called the fascia, right? So, not knowing then that I was in this wonderful field that is the extracellular matrix, for me, clarity comes in drops. It comes slow, so I can digest that drop and know exactly what it is. But how do I get clarity? Well, you need steps, right? Because we are triggered every moment of our lives, because we've been carrying this weight all our life of suffering, pain from our ancestors. So you are operating from that system, right? So when you operate from the fear, pain, suffering, clarity is not going to come to you. And everything that you think you get, it's going to be colored by those three things, because you're not feeling safe in your body. Your system is not safe. So now that you go, okay, I have those three within me. First, I want to backtrack. And this is not to bash other people, but I want you to, after we do an exercise and I tell you what to do, that when you listen to a video, a information, TikTok or Instagram, whatever, saying, I channel blah, 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 or I get information from here or there, you go like, Amy, heck yeah, or heck no, right? Because you're going, believe it or not, you're going to have a lot of heck no. And you're going to learn how to discern from that information. So if you have a pen and paper, first, you need to breathe. Breathing, it's important. Without breathing, your metabolism won't work. Energy won't move. So choose an exercise that makes you feel heck yeah. If you look at the internet, there are so many breathing exercises and tools for breathing. Pick the one that goes heck yeah. The other one is hydration. If you're listening to somebody and you feel foggy, your fascia is not working because it runs in electricity. But it's not just drinking water. Your water has to have electrolytes. Maria, I don't want to buy something expensive. Well, coconut water with the rest of water. So that little bottle can be useful for several days. Put a splash of good quality sea salt, Celtic salt, pink salt in your water. Maria, I don't have any of those. A teaspoon of honey and lemon it will have the electrolytes for the information to come in. Then is movement. If you're not feeling great, you need to move. Do the star. My favorite one to remove juju or bad energy is to do the Sufi whirling. If you don't know what it is, look for it in Google. You twirl to your left to remove the energies and then move clockwise to add energy from the sun. It works because we naturally have two vortices in our body, one going towards the sun, the other one from our belly button going down towards Mother Earth. So move. That will move your fascia, your lymphatic system, your nervous system. Great. Now you have breathing. Now you have water. And then you have movement. Then we come to the real one. The movement is called Sufi. It's called SUFI, twirling. Great. Now we need to be grounded. You could go outside after doing the previous ones. Now you're ready to hug a tree. Hug your tree. He's going to love you back. And when you're holding your tree, ask Mother Earth to remove all the remnants of any energy that it's not so great. And you also will have the intention that Mother Earth will love you back. Great. Now we have all the 4 steps: hydration and movement and connecting. So now that you've done all of that, you're completely empty in a good way to receive. So now you can confidently go and look at a video and go, heck no. And the question is that I always ask to get clear information. Is this information coming from source? Is it a heck yeah? Then I'll see the video. If the information within me says heck no, I'll just click, right? I make sure that I'm in my body, that nothing is triggering me, that I feel safe. And I will ask Mother Earth, am I safe? Am I feeling great? Okay, so again, I'm going to go back to how to keep your body clear. Hydrate. Eat regularly. But if you've done the steps before, you're going to grab whatever food in your hands, and your body is going to go, heck yeah, or heck no. Sleep well, however hours your body needs. Please don't get stuck in the frame that you have to sleep 9 hours or at least 6. Ask your body, command your body, has the intention that you're going to sleep as many hours your body needs to recover. Call it 3 to 12. Sometimes your body will need to sleep 12 hours. So please don't feel guilty. It's what you need to recover. Ground yourself through feet, breath, nature. Sufi, twirling, sensory awareness. Where am I? What am I feeling? What am I tasting? What am I smelling? What kind of tea am I tasting today? Notice your body. Notice if whatever you're watching is giving you an overload of sensations, tension, numbness. You go, this doesn't sound okay. Racing thoughts, irritability, disconnection. And the last one, create energetic boundaries that only the information coming from source and it's for the good of all will come to you. If you work with clients, always do this before your client comes in. And also do this with your client. So your client it's open and ready to receive whatever you're doing, healing, psychotherapy, just breathing work. So please, every time you get into social media, difficult conversations, dollar store, make sure you're safe, clear, confident, and connected. All right, everybody. Anyone has questions about it or comments?
Yeah, was there anything today that was a big aha for you that like, gee, I never thought about that, being, that thing, and just the power of the Trinity, how important that is, being clear, calm, and confident. Yeah.
But even I just want to make the point, even if it's good information, it doesn't mean it's information you need right now. Ask that question too.
I agree completely. Because sometimes I get this information that it's clearly from source, that the person that I'm watching is channeling something that's from source. But I usually ask, is this for me? Is this for my students? Because I teach medical intuition. Or is this for my groups that I'm working with? Or this is for my client? So once I'm clear in that answer, when I look at a video, I stop the video and I said, okay, this is not for me to completely listen, but I know I'm clear in whom this video is for, right? Because we are bombarded by information.
Yeah.
So who am I clear for?
A very important point, because we are overboarded with so much and we need to filter what is important at this point in time.
Absolutely.
And it's as easy as ask and you shall receive. Not receive.
Well, I think you've got to be
Yeah.
mindful, though. I hear that, and I personally I get to a point where this is all great stuff, and I asked that I have like a project management angel. Can you filter all this for me and alert me on what is the information that I need? Because there's just way too much. You got to be
Yeah.
mindful about what you're asking for, because remember in oh God, the movie where with he played God. He didn't play God, but he always, he wanted to have God's powers. And and he had just all those post-its all over him. Did you remember? It's like, so just be mindful about that. What do I need to know right now that is good for me, that is safe for me, that is reliable for me?
Then I need it.
And I may need it tomorrow. I don't need it right now. If we're talking about
Exactly.
living in the present, and what I'll do, I literally will do, I'll say, oh, that's really good. I'll put it in a space for when it's time.
That's why moving back into clarity be so important when you have things that are like coming at you so quickly. It's like, let me just, gee, I have to take a bathroom break. Just so I can have a
Yeah.
place where I can actually stop and be with myself and be able to slow it down and to breathe or whatever, and just do your check-ins to figure out where you are, what, am I breathing, am I hydrated, am I grounded, am I all these things, and being able to do that. Can I soothe myself and just let me just soothe myself for a second and slow things down, because everything's going to always want to be pushing. So it's a matter of like, can I come from that place of neutrality and just know that I'm coming from me before I move out into whatever is or isn't what's being requested and how I
And,
feel about it.
and in terms of, let's say, work, which can be volunteer work, can be whatever kind of work that you're doing. If somebody's pushing you to make a decision when you're not ready, that's a sign too. Most things don't need a decision right away. Sometimes they do,
Exactly.
but not that often. And if somebody's pushing you to make a decision, that's information you need to look at too.
Yeah.
That reminds me of a Chinese business practice that they've been doing for centuries, where it's the three rule. Can I do it in 3 seconds, 3 minutes, 3 hours, 3 days, 3 months? It's the whole thing of taking it into the power of the threes and being able to have that word, because what it does, it gives us time, it gives us presence, gives us tuning in on a certain level of being able to do that. And we can even ask spirit of like, how long should I be allowing this to be in something that I'm looking at it for a little bit.
And for me, what I'll do is like, let me pray about that. Let me get back to you. If this is not true, but I enjoy using this one. I have to ask my husband. That's always fun. Anybody that believes that doesn't know me, but that's okay.
That's all relatable to all. Everybody all go, yeah, I have to ask my husband.
Right, exactly. Whatever scapegoat I need at the time. But but it's like I have to, but I'm consciously slowing down. And then I worked in a very, highly classified arena. Everything was really stressful. One little mistake could cost you everything. So what I learned was the crazier it gets, the more chaos it gets, the calmer I need to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I run away from anything that push me to make a purchase or whatever at this point. Even people that are in these fields try to sell you things, and if it's not today, you are I run away. No.
Good for you. Yeah. And there may be something in there that's worth it, but just slow it down enough to say, is there some part of that works for me? Yeah.
When it's push, I run away. That is my sign.
Very good.
Great.
Yeah.
All right, Robin, can you tie us all together?
Let's try it all up in a pretty bow. So, moving from that whole trinity, like I said, it's the wellness and equilibrium that we're really just inviting everybody just to play with these different aspects of being able to come from a place of being calm and clear and confident. I'd love to hear your feedback. Is this something that's been helpful for you? I've just come to some things like, wow, I've never really thought about that. That seems like such an easy, simple thing. And like I said, if it's simple, then it's something that really needs to be moving into having it be where it's calming and clearing and having a sense of confidence with that. And, going over to our Flowerful Living Wellness page on Facebook and making comments if you guys want, and let us know here on the chat what it is. So we just always want to thank you for being here. We hope that it's helpful for you. And we'd love to hear that, if there's anything you want us to be talking about, we'd love to hear about that too. So we can go ahead and make it on our Tuesday program, our Tuesday conversation. Okay, people want to talk about this. What are we going to do with it?
Well, I look forward to seeing some
on
comments on your doing your twirling.
Yeah, let's do some Sufi twirling and see how that works for you. That's your homework. That's your homework. Louise Esler,
Add
thank
a
you for
little
joining.
starfish to the twirling. I'm just
Woo!
kidding.
Absolutely. That is
Very good. Very
Good,
good.
good,
Yes, very good.
good. Yay. All right, until next time, thank you guys. Like us, send us to somebody who you think would appreciate it. We are so grateful for you. So grateful.
and we
Thank you.
also would love if you want us to talk about something
Yes.
specifically. Remember, I am Dr. Limardo, medical intuitive. Amy, it's a specialist in real tools for real time. And Robin, it's our flower alchemist and medium. So please propose some other themes that you want us to talk about. See you next week.
Yay.
Bye.